Good afternoon, everybody. My dear students and my dear alumni, Debarun, my all colleagues. I welcome you all to yet another alumni session, which is on talking about what is the importance of summer internship to undergrads. And I thought nobody else other than one of our alumni could be the best person to guide them about it. Now to talk about Debarun. Debarun passed out BBA from Amity School of Business in 2016 and then he did an MBA in 2019 from Birmingham. He was previously working with American Express and currently he is working as a business analyst at Sirion Labs. Now his LinkedIn profile says that he wants to attain a position of management professional to contribute his knowledge, skills and experience for the advancement of the company. And he is committed to meet the business goals of the company, striving towards an excellence. And I warmly welcome you, Debarun, on this virtual platform. And I'm really thankful that you have agreed and accepted to share your knowledge with us. So Debarun has been a speaker at various other places. He's been visiting various institutes. I'm sure in a physical as well as a virtual mode. He's talking to youngsters at different institutes. So I'm sure our students are going to benefit a lot of out of this. So Debarun, you can start, please.
Thank you so much for this introduction. And it's wonderful being back, in some way being associated with this institute. I have amazing memories here with, my bachelor's time. So without wasting much time, I'll probably quickly jump into, the topic and our mode of discussion. Let me share my PPT and you guys can probably just give me a thumbs up if you guys can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So the
You just put
topic,
it on full screen.
perfect. Is it there? Yeah, put it on.
Yes.
Sure. So the topic being the importance and relevance of summer internships for undergrads. So just to give a context, uh, just from the beginning, we might think that, summer internship is something which is for a later stage of our, student life, which probably we want to do in the third year or the final year or just before, passing out. But I think that's a very wrong notion that we have in our minds. And I'll probably talk about, important pointers, which will probably, help you understand that why is this so. So let's start with the basics. Let's start by understanding what an internship actually is. So if we go by the books, it can be described as a work integrated learning experience, which can also be called as co-op, practicum, field work, whichever way you want to be called. So it can be either a part-time internship or a full-time internship, a short-term or a long-term internship based on the period, as well as it can be either paid or unpaid. So there are a lot of institutes, or there are a lot of institutions which, do unpaid internship as well, because of it's more about, what the learning that you take from the institute rather than, what they are paying you as a matter of fact. So moreover, it's an intentional learning plan that you go through, and it helps you promote your academic, personal, as well as professional development. So internship helps you become, more ready for the professional world, because the theory or, the learnings that you get from the classes is probably something you just ponder upon how you want to implement them, how you want to showcase them in the work environment. So this is the platform where you can actually see that, how you can implement these ideologies that you've studied in the classes. So what can you learn from internships? So let's look at a few pointers that I've jotted down here. So first of all, it's helping you in learning about your career field in depth. So a lot of you must be, planning to have a career in marketing, in finance, in HR, various fields, right? So this will give you a big opportunity to understand this field, to get in-depth knowledge of about this field. Secondly, it will assist in deciding if it's the right career field for you. So we all have to start somewhere. We have to, probably pick up one particular domain and see, for example, it's pretty normal to be confused at the very start and not know, that what particular field you want to get into. It's all right. You can be okay with it, but at the same time, it's really essential for you to explore and understand that what field you want to actually get into and what are you liking and what are you finding a little bit more interesting than others. So this will help you choose the right career path. And thirdly, it's enabling you to work alongside a professional in the chosen career domain. So this professional that, or these set of professionals that you're working with, you have a mentor there, you have your seniors there, you have your peers there. All of them will allow you to understand, the way of functioning, how the corporate functioning works, how, they approach work, how they strategize and plan, their daily goals and their how they approach their daily KRA. So this is something you'll absolutely learn from. Then moving on, it will allow you to get new set of skills to be added to your knowledge pool. So theoretical knowledge pool is definitely there for you, but the practicalness of this theory, like how you are doing time management, how you are understanding or probably doing prioritizing of your daily work that you want to do. So this is something which this kind of a practical avenue will make you understand better. Then again, very importantly, next, just give me a second. So next, it gives you confidence in your abilities and allows an application of the ideas from school or your colleges. So like I said, that till then you have all the theories working around that you've learned from the classes. So this gives you an avenue to practically go ahead and implement these ideas and see what sort of a results are you getting and how you can in various projects apply them. And lastly, it gives a platform, an opportunity to practice your communication and teamwork skills. So if you feel that you're probably, have been not up to the mark in terms of doing public speaking or speaking up to a group, so these kind of, practical exposure will help you go get out of it, be that icebreaker so that you feel more comfortable. Because one day, first day, second day, you feel a little bit in the shell, but after probably few sessions you'll be a little bit more confident, a little bit more easygoing about it. So gradually it will definitely become part and parcel of your life. And more importantly, it will teach you how to do teamwork, because in an corporate environment, it's all about the team. It's not just about an individual. Individually, of course, you have to perform, but overall, when you see, like, when the senior leadership views you, it views you as a team, right? So if you are, coordinating with your peers, if you are able to coordinate with your seniors, juniors, everyone, and work very harmoniously, that's really important, and that's what you learn from a corporate experience. So enough, talk for some time, and I'll probably pause for a little bit and see if anyone has any questions, or we can then move on.
Okay. Does anybody have a question at the moment? Or if you have any, you can raise your hands.
Or maybe we can put it in the chat box as well, and I'll take up later.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. So I'm moving on for now.
Yes, okay.
Perfect. So next we come to the importance of internships. So first, let us look at what I've jotted down for you. So first, experimental education allows one to learn by practically executing a set of job roles in an environment where professional supervision is there. So like I said, that all the theories, all the knowledge that you have, all the various kind of tools that you learn in your colleges, right? So there you can implement them and see that in this professional environment, under the right supervision, how you can implement them. So this professional supervision is really important, because we might think on a very layman term, see that on a very easygoing way, that this might be the right approach to do something, but in a professional environment, professional supervision will allow us to actually come into a conclusion whether it is the right practice into that organization or not, because every organization is completely different, right? So there are a set of rules, or there are a set of ways in which the organizations work. So these supervisors or these peers will help us understand that what is the right way of executing these learnings that we have, so that we are not doing something which is non-compliance to the organization's goals, right? And secondly, it is very important as it gives us an opportunity to achieve our own goals without the bearing responsibility of a permanent employee. So a permanent employee definitely has a larger or a bigger set of burden, because they're having like much higher expectations from what we have from an intern. Because an intern, we all know, in a corporate environment, that they're new into the system, they're in there having their learning curve, which is slowly going up. So they don't expect you to be perfect, right? They expect you to be open into learning, and be being able to grasp as much as possible. So that pressure is definitely not felt, which a full-time employee is normally facing in their day-to-day work environment. Then moving on, what so this is a portion where you have to be uh, a little bit more concerned, because these benefits will help you understand the importance of internship from the very start of your college life. So it's not like in the final year, if you're doing it, then it will be enough. So I'll give you my example. In the first year itself, in the second semester, I did my first internship, because I got to understand, I got to know from my peers, from my parents, and all around me, and even my faculty. So they all told me that how the importance of internship will help me gain an advantage in terms of getting to know more about the corporate environment. So if you are, probably you want to get a little bit more exposure or edge, some sort of advantage over the others, then you can start early. You can probably start in your first year itself or second year itself, and do one internship, multiple internship, as per your time frame, as per your schedule, that is allowed. So first of all, it benefits in your personal, academic, professional, and even financial front. So all these are really important factors. So personal front, you can understand that we all have confidence boost that we get while doing an internship, because we know that we are working with a corporate. We know that when we are implementing, and when we are actually working with other professional, it gives us automatically a boost into our confidence and in our way of life, right? And then academically, you can have an advantage in terms of having better understanding of how the corporate world is functioning, when you're comparing it to your classmates. Then in the professional front, you're becoming a little bit probably more, or getting a better understanding towards becoming a more professional, and more corporate ready than your peers. And in the financial front, if these internships are offering you stipends, or even they're offering you allowances for your travel, so you can always take advantage of these financial fronts that you have, and probably save it up, and be happy about them being your first earnings in your life. And then moving on to the second point, as per an experiential education survey that was connected by NSEE, 45% of employers offer higher salaries to incoming hires with internship experience. So this is but natural. So corporates see that you've already done an internship, you know how the corporate world functions, so they have to train you less. Like they have to spend lesser time on you, right? So automatically they are kind of a little bit more inclined towards giving you better salary when it's compared to others. Am I still audible? I think there might be a network
Yes,
issue.
yes, Debarun, it's
Okay,
fine.
perfect. So yeah, moving to the next point, it helps in gaining industry knowledge and accumulate evidences on one's own abilities. So industry knowledge you're of course getting when you're working in the corporate environment, and you're accumulating a lot of evidence, a lot of you can say case studies. So every single day you come to work, it's almost like a new case study for you. It's a new case every day. You're learning a lot of new things, like when you're interacting with few other teams. For example, if you're in the HR department and you're interacting with the financial department, and then gaining knowledge out of how they function, and what sort of set of tools they are working on, and what kind of daily roles they, or daily tasks that they perform. So all of them are use case evidences, or use case everyday scenarios that you learn. So then, very importantly, it helps in making critical professional contacts, and thus the mix could potentially lead into a full-time employment and following your graduation. So while you're having this corporate connect, while during your internship, you make a lot of professional contacts. You make a lot of, you have a lot of connections that you make in your office environment. So these are very critical because if these, superiors or these leadership or even your peers like you or like how you, function or how you are performing, then there's a very high possibility that they would want to absorb you, or they would want you to work for them in the near future. So which can be extremely beneficial when you're passing out, and after that there are high chances that they might want to hire you and work with them. Then it allows us to meet a lot of people, new set of people, and practice your network. So your networking skills. So networking is really important in the corporate world because if you're not networked enough, then you won't be able to go around and probably develop yourself in a very high standard possible, because you can be in your shell and you can be working on a regular basis into your KRAs and just doing that, but that's fine. But if you really want to excel, if you really want to grow in the corporate field, then you have to network for, you have to get to know other people, you have to get to know the big shots of the corporate world. And when you interact with them, when you are in touch with them, there are higher chances that you can be offered great roles in your near future. Then, very importantly, it makes very valuable addition into your CV, and thereby enhance your application to pursue your post graduation. So the experience that you get from the internship, you can jot it down in your CV, and you can explain that what sort of a corporate experience that you got, and based on which what sort of a project you did. So these kind of projects, you can write down and you can practically tell them that I have the practical, even if it's not 100%, but a little bit practical know-how of these particular things, because as a part of our project, can kind of carried out my roles into these kind of different, project work that I did. Then, very importantly, opening a door to the job offer or recommendation about the next steps one should take for your career path. So this will give you a little bit more clarity whether you're liking your job into this particular domain or not, whether you want to you feel that you want to pursue your career into this particular role or not, and then you can accordingly take decisions and based on this, and which will be really really crucial for you to shape your career path. So then, before I move on again, I'll just stop and check if anyone has any questions, because we discussed a lot of important, points about, the benefits to the students. So anyone has any questions?
Any questions? You either raise your hands for question or give a thumbs up to move us forward. Come on, students.
Any questions, anything that comes up to your mind, even if it's not really related to these topics, then also it's absolutely fine. Anything related to internships that's
So,
probably in your mind.
so they are giving us a thumbs up to move forward.
No problem. We'll probably just do it towards the end. Perfect. So moving on. Now coming to another very important aspect of internships, that how it actually affects and shapes your future career, the impact it has on it. So progressing from your college to your professional life can seem like a mammoth task, which is something, which might be bothering you as a matter of fact right now. But numerous graduates battle to recognize the correct profession, which an internship helps them to decode by giving them a feeler of the chosen domain. Like we had discussed in the previous slides as well, that internships will allow you to get exposure, understanding of the domain you're working on, and understand that whether this is the kind of domain work that excites you or it does not. And you can also interact with people in the other domain, in the other department, and see whether that work is something which is probably exciting you more. So on the basis of that, you can always switch your roles. Like giving my own example, I started with a completely very hardcore HR domain work into recruitment during my internships, and then after that, I figured out that technology is something which is really exciting for me. So in my first job, I got this opportunity of implementing the HR software called HR1 by Unicorps. So I got an exposure of that. So it's not like, I would wanted to have like just, I wanted to keep doing recruiting. I saw that, there is something which is a little bit more exciting to me. And then I switched. So this is the kind of exposure that you'll get in your internships and which will help you take, such decisions for your career. Then businesses progressively contract understudies with temporary job understanding over who have none, which is the same case as family business. So when you have a little bit corporate know-how through these internships, then they will obviously, give you a little bit more reliance, and they can depend on you on, the functioning or the kind of KRAs that they can assign to you. So in that way, they'll be rest assured, they'll know that you're a little bit more corporate ready because you have worked in the corporate environment. You're a little bit more, comfortable in the corporate environment. That again gives you a bit of advantage, and that goes same in the business families as well. Like a lot of business families, they want, the next generation to understand how a business functions, understand how the corporate world, because corporate and business are, they're not really too far apart. So both of them require streamlining in terms of, how you work, what are your KRAs, to have a set of goals, time management, prioritizing work. So these kind of things, once you get a hang of it, and internships will definitely, on a first stage, these projects will help you do all these things and make you more corporate ready as well as more business ready, and that way you'll be a little bit more reliant on being handed over the business or being handed over a full-time role in the long run. So thus the exposure that allows them to know the practical know-how of the various functioning of the role rather than just the theory of it. So like we have discussed all along, like it's not just the theoretical aspect of it, it is the practical know-how that is allowing us to be have a little bit more advantage apart from your peer, compared to your peers, that how the functioning will actually go and how you're expected to perform in a corporate environment. Then finishing an interview as well as an internship while you're in your college can both enable you to have an edge over the opposition, like we have always discussed, while applying for your further studies as well as in the corporate world. So again, a very important factor that comes up here is your further study. So if you have a plan to do your master's, so they see that what sort of a corporate exposure you have. It might be possible that you finish your BBA right now, and you don't want to probably just work directly after that, and you directly want to do your MBA. So if you're in that particular mindset, then these internships are a little bit more critical to you, because on the basis of these internships, your application into these MBA colleges will be looked into in a better way. So they'll see that you've got a corporate exposure, you've got, you've done various projects in the corporate world, and that will definitely give you a bigger advantage compared to, the other applicants. And that will make your, you know, position a lot little not really a little but actually a lot stronger than the competitors. So this is something that is really important for you to consider as well. And as this clearly indicates that corporate experience through internships and projects is treated as big advantage in an applicant's arsenal in both scenarios, like we discussed. So this is a big time advantage that you'll have in the corporate world as well as for your further studies. So again, in an overview, that is carried out by NSE, it's found that they found that 63% of the understudies who finished an internship were offered no less than one employment after graduation. So 63% of them were offered graduation, while just 35% of understudies who did not finish an internship got no less than one occupation. So 63% who did their internship was the turnaround for them, and 35% who did not. So you can figure out that there's a vast difference in terms of people who did their internship getting, a job role. Now, moving on and talking about what you can offer to the employer, because end of the day, when you are giving your you're sitting down for your interview, so your employee wants to know that what can you offer, what can you give your company, or how can you serve the company, and how what can you bring to the table for the employer. So these are the benefits that we can discuss, and internship will help you, bring to the table for an employer. So internship provides them a source of highly motivated professionals, first of all, then effective source of quality candidates for temporary positions and projects, allows the professional staff to have the freedom to pursue more creative projects, and providing a flexible, cost-effective workforce and way to recruit and evaluate potential employees. So this is all, related to flexibility and doing creative projects, and it will help them into, on a lower cost, they can probably think of doing projects which they will not be probably able to conduct with, the full-time employees. So this is something which will these are like, works in both, beneficial for both ways, because the employers, they don't need to pay that much that they normally need to pay, sorry, then I need to pay a full-time employee. And at the same time, it's kind of a work that they never thought that they would be doing before, and probably they can venture and, work into as a more creative project. So these are the few set of, benefits that the employer will get out of, interns like you. And final slide I've got here. Before that, again, I want to again check that few important things that we've discussed here. Any questions again? All right, then I am moving on with this last slide. So finally, I've got few tips, to share with you for your CV. So probably from now on only, if you want to apply for internships, you have to start building your CV, and we do get a lot of inputs from, different parts, from your parents, from your peers, from your teachers. But what are the basics that you can actually do right while drafting your CV? So let's look at it one by one. So first of all, keep your CV to one page as an undergrad. You don't have to make a huge CV. You don't have to make like 4 pages, 5 pages CV and think that, that will give you an advantage. No, that's not the case. You have to make it very concise. You have to put the right set of data that you, in terms of, the things that you want to show in your CV, and it can be just a one pager, and all the required information can be put into a one page. Just make it concise. So you don't have to write, multiple lines on one particular topic about what you did in school or what you did in your college. So it has to be very concise and fit it into a single page. Secondly, click a good professional photograph and formally suit it in your CV. So we can put, daily casual photographs that we have from Facebook, Instagram, and, whichever platform. But that is not giving a very nice, overall feedback to, your interviewer, and it's a little bit showing a casual approach towards, the whole scenario. So click a professionally suited up photograph
मेरे पास क्योंकि
and
ज्यादा टाइम
put
होता है
it
मैं
there.
अभी तो और जगह ढूंढनी स्टार्ट करता हूँ
So I think there's a little bit of disturbance. Can we have the person on mute? Okay. Yeah. So moving on. So third point, make separate CVs for each job application process as per the requirement mentioned, and job description for the role. So a common, misconception that we have is just make one CV, do all your work that you need to do into one CV and just circulate it to the whole world, circulate it across all the job opportunities that are there in the market. No, that's a very wrong practice, because you're doing the basics absolutely wrong. Because we have artificial intelligence, we have very, in-depth recruiters who know that, this practice a lot of freshers, especially freshers do, and which is a mistake, because for every particular job, there is a set of requirements that they have. So if that requirement does not match, then how can you expect them to, filter out your CV? So you have to first of all understand and see that what sort of a job are you applying for, right? And then read the job description, what description is giving there, and what sort of, specialized a set of uh, maybe tools or a set of things that they're looking into. So just write them, and probably if you have those in your kitty, just mention them and highlight them in your CV. And then you have to kind of edit your CV in alignment to that, and then submit it. Then you'll see automatically that your search criteria or your filtering criteria will help your CV to actually reach the recruiter rather than sending a generalized CV. So this is really important, and just keep that in mind. Then pick out important terms for the job description and include these keywords in your CV, which will allow the recruiters and AI to filter and match your CV more effectively. So like I said, that recruiters and the AIs that function. So I'll give an example in American Express because I was a part of the HR team there. So they call the HR team there as a CEG team, colleague experience group team. So a lot of people came up to me and wrote me mails, and through LinkedIn also to discuss that I have tried applying to for this particular position that multiple time it has got rejected, although I have relevant experience. What might be the reason? So in most cases, the main reason is that you don't mend your CV, you don't edit your CV according to the job description or the set of keywords that they expect there to be in the in your CV, because the AI is actually looking for these keywords. They're looking for these words in the job that are mentioned in the job description, whether it's there in your CV or not. And if it's there, then only there are higher chances for your CV to be picked up. So thank you guys. That's probably it from my side in terms of the knowledge that I wanted to share with all of you. So if you have any questions, we can probably go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Anybody has any questions, students? You can raise your hands. Otherwise, in classes, Debarun, they have a lot of questions for
Yeah, I can
internship.
understand. Probably right now they are not, you know, being able to come up with questions or, being probably understanding that what's the right set of questions to it. Hi, Ruchi ma'am. Good to see you.
Hi, Debarun. It's so nice to hear you. And I think partially the reason why the questions are not there is because the presentation was so very detailed. So
Thank you
I'm
so much.
sure half the queries got solved because of the presentation tips that you gave. I see one hand raised. Shreya, I think she has a question. Shreya, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, ma'am. So, I had a question, sir, that sometimes it happens, like I've seen this happening with me a lot, that we know the skills that we have, we understand the theoretical knowledge, but when it comes to applying for an internship, we don't really understand what kind of a project do we want to like select, because we don't understand what is happening, what would be the skills that we would be learning in that particular project. So, could you like explain that part? Yes, sir.
So I think the simplest answer to that will be your best friends, I'll say Google and YouTube. So any set of topics that you think that you are finding, a little bit, uh, you know, probably otherworldly or not able to understand that what is actually going to be a set of tools to be used there. First of all, go to your faculties, their, pool of knowledge. So you'll be able to understand from them that, you're having the right approach or not. And secondly, if you before that you can do a little bit of study yourself and do a research yourself and see that for the kind of role that you're applying, what are the common tools that are used in the market for the kind of industry that you want to look into. So the answers are always there, but then again we are only confused because it's natural that right now at this moment you will not be having a lot of exposure into the corporate scenario and knowing that what is going on there. But trust me, when you go to the online portals, then you'll get a lot of things through slide shares, through a lot of different kind of portals, student portals, like research papers that's all available there. So you can go through them. You have to do your groundwork in terms of in order to get into getting answers into them. And of course, speak to a faculty. They'll be able to guide you and make you understand that what sort of tools are currently there in the market and are used for these kind of projects. So hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, yes. We
Yes.
all Next we have Chirag Mulchandani. Chirag, you can unmute yourself.
So my question is like, could you give some tips to find a good internship?
He's already given so many.
Uh, s- uh, Absolutely, that's there. But more tips will definitely be. Uh, there's this portal called Internshala. Go there, make a profile, right, and keep applying. It's almost like the Naukri. I'll say the Naukri.com of internships at the moment, because that's what I did for my internship as well. Go to Internshala, make a profile, and choose a domain that you want to apply into. See what sort of different kind of roles are there. Study about it, what these roles have to offer, what the job description is, because the job description will help you understand what kind of a role you'll have to do in this particular profile. And just keep applying there. And like I said, most importantly, work a lot on your CV. Try to make it as much beautiful, as much concise, as crisp, as precise as possible. Take the help of the faculties, take the help of various sample CVs that are there in the online portals, and just try to ensure that your CV is on point, so that when you're applying for these internships, they actually are able to grasp and see that what kind of strengths that you have that will benefit them in terms of hiring you for an internship position for these particular roles.
I think, Debarun, there's something which comes to my mind. Students often come to us with one question, that if they have a family business, should they do internship there or should they search for something else outside?
Uh, I'll say it's always better to get exposure outside, because of course at the end of the day you'll be working there. Of course there is always an opportunity, an option for you to venture into your own family business and see how it functions. Of course that option is definitely there for you. But when you diversify your knowledge pool and when you see in the outside world that what's different sort of ways people are approaching, uh, be it in some particular field or be it in some particular tools that are being applied, because it might be like your business is not using at the moment the most up market, or the latest tools that are there, and you go into these diversified profiles in other institution, and there you understand that these are the tools that are used right now in the market, and there you can learn these tools, come back and make it beneficial for your business.
Okay, thank you. Shubham Kumar also had a question. Shubham, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, sir answered it in the question of Chirag only. So I wanted to
Okay.
ask that how do we identify the keywords in the CV? As I know that I have made a CV, and I'm just trying to understand that is there any psychological game in which we have to play with the words so that it attracts
So
the
you are trying to beat Shubham, you are trying to beat the AI using psychological
yes,
game.
ma'am. Kind of, kind of. Yes, ma'am.
If you
Okay.
want to beat, I'll say if you want to beat AI, don't try to beat it psychologically, try to beat it logically. Because logic is what AI functions in. Because right now, because I am slowly moving into this particular field, and it's all about logic. So whatever, the coding to everything that is done in the back end is all logic. So what you need to understand is the CV that you're building, right? So when you are expecting the AI to look into a certain set of keywords there, so the keywords has to be at the right place, right? It's not right, if you have your school experience at the top, and if you have your college experience at, just the end portion of your CV, then you know that it is not the right place to be. So obviously everything has to be first of all in place, and you have to go through the JD in a very detailed and descriptive manner. Then you will be able to understand how you want to place your knowledge into your CV, because the JD is self-explanatory. It totally can make you understand that what kind of a person that person is looking into, because a lot of thorough professionals that are there in the market can read the JD and just tell that, whether they'll be selected for the job or not, or if it's relevant for them or not. But that comes after experience. But first of all, when you read it, you try to make your CV, as close to the JD as possible, so that it is first of all picked. Because first, CV will be picked, then only the scenario of, the interview will come into place. So you have to first of all project yourself as the perfect candidate, and after that you'll be getting into, that scenario of an interview taking place. So that is more important.
Okay, that was very good, Debarun. Okay. Anybody else has any questions? Any more?
Debarun, I want to ask you something. A lot of times, when we see the CVs of students, we come across certain points that we see they have faked. So, I mean, what would you say to that? That little bit of faking would work, or they have to be completely honest while making their CVs?
So I'll say that when you're applying for very niche or specific roles, so there it's not possible for you, for any individual to have 100% knowledge of anything. But at the same time, you know, in your interview, you'll probably have to assure them that you are willing to learn, you're willing to, absorb knowledge, and in turn be beneficial for the organization. So a little bit of tweaking is all right to get selected, because when you're applying to probably the big fours and, the bigger companies, or let's say the MNCs, so they are looking for the cream, right? So everyone cannot be the cream. So but everyone wants to be interviewed at the same time. So little bit tweaking towards your CV will definitely help you, and it's not a very bad thing to do. But at the end of the day, the interview will happen, right? The interview process is something where you want to reach, because that is the first stage that gives you a boost, that gives you confidence. At least you're getting to the interview stage, you're getting the experience of giving an interview, and you're understanding that, at least I am selected for this particular interview. So that is absolutely fine, because after that the filtration will anywhere happen. Excel tests will be there, tools tests will be there, so there the filtration is going to happen. So I think it's all right to, do a little bit of plus minus here and there in the CV. So that's okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also,
So everybody should note only a very little, not everything.
very
Okay. Okay, so in fact, Debrun, I found it to be a very interesting and a very enriching session. Uh, these students, it's very difficult to get them make one CV, and now you're asking them to make a CV for every other internship, a different one. So
but
I'm sure,
that's sorry to cut you, but I probably explained the one thing, that if
yes,
they really do want to have that edge over others, if they really do want to have, that advantage over others, they will make it, because they know. And at the end of the day, if they want their names to be there in the placed column, in the placed section, so they have to do a little bit extra.
I think,
absolutely
Debarun,
right.
for them, the first part of your presentation was most relevant because, making a CV with all your efforts and all your heart into it, that comes only when you understand the importance of internship. In their case, at this age, they just consider it to be like a NTCC and like any other course, they have to just pass that. So most of the time, they are looking for opportunities where they don't have to work at all. In fact,
Some of
I tell
them.
you that, yes, I mean, the first time during this pandemic in 2020, the university allowed to do a remote internship. And because most of the companies were not working mode at that time.
Right.
And the second year, it continued. So though it was a second batch, but they learned so fast from their seniors, they said, ma'am, we will do remote only. We don't want to go. And I mean, whether it was actually a genuine reason for COVID or not, but they thought that this excuse can work. And therefore, most of them sought to get into easy projects. So that is where I think they need to learn that it's something which is really, enriching for them. It is the real life experience that they are going to get. So I really like the first part of your presentation a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Ruchi
Thanks
ma'am,
for exhausting those
that
points.
Ruchi ma'am, that is the reason that we did not invite anybody else from the industry, but we invited our own alumni so
Yes,
that the students can appreciate that if you take things seriously, it just takes 5 years to reach where Debarun has reached. He is
exactly.
just a 5-year-old pass out, and 5 years is nothing. All those who are in second year, 5 years back, you were in class 8. So try to see how much you have transformed in the last 5 years. Next 5 years, you should reach this position that we invite you for a session for your junior batch. He's not very senior to you. 2019 MBA, 2022, so much experience is not very, it's not a huge time gap. So yes, Debarun, I'm really very happy to see you speaking with so much confidence. I feel pride that you have groomed yourself so well. And we hope to see more students following the path that you have taken.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think the foundation, of course, began from Amity, and the example is right here. You have to take full advantage of your professors. You have to take full advantage of your institute and take full advantage of the internet, because you don't have any excuse. You have everything right in front of you. You just have to work a little bit harder, probably. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So Ruchi ma'am, shall we close the session?
Yes, I think we can close the session. Debarun, thank you once again from Amity School of Business. It was an absolute pleasure to listen to you. And as Ruchika ma'am already said, it's a moment of sheer pride for us to see one of our old students speak with so much of conviction. Thank you so much for sparing your time.
Thank you for inviting me, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Debarun. So Debarun, before I close the session, I would just like to tell you that next I would like to invite you for a session on resume writing.
Sure, sure. I would love to.
Okay. So once the same batch is moves on to fifth semester, maybe sometimes in September or October, I'll invite you for a resume writing session.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
And
you,
thank
Ruchika.
all my
Bye.
faculty colleagues for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.